ATL Car Guys, welcome back to the channel. I am here in my new studio, sitting in the big blue chair, ready to tell you guys some Gearhead confessions. I am surrounded by all of my favorite things, awards from car shows and things people have made me, and Hot Wheels and posters of the Corvette and grills. We'll add stuff to the studio as more things happen here. But we plan to do a lot of things here. I want to bring you in, let you see what we're doing on this segment of the channel. So subscribe, please subscribe to the channel. We are strong and in the monetization territory. We just got to get the views. So I know you guys are going to watch once we start releasing consistently. Let's get those numbers up. We're going to tell a little bit darker stories here, a little bit more on the risque side, real stories, stuff that really happens to people, stories that can't be told on other channels. I'll kick off the stories for you guys. I'll tell one from way back. Yes, dating myself. In the 1900s, in the late 1900s, 15 years old or something. It's Christmas break. I'm in East Atlanta suburbs. That's where I live at the time. And I have family in town. I'm in my entertainment room, kind of my game room, doing nothing. I get a call from my friend. He's like, yo, I'm pulling up, you gotta come outside. So I go outside. It's actually friends in the neighborhood kind of around with some of their like cousins that are kind of visiting for the holiday. Also dating myself. This is back when people went outside when you were teenagers. You know, at the time I have a car, so it's in the driveway. So I'm just kind of messing around in the driveway. And then this Jeep Cherokee Sport pulls up in my driveway. Now, if you guys know anything about cars, especially about 90s vehicles, the Jeep Cherokee Sport was a little bit sportier. It was not the Grand Cherokee, which was bulky. It was cool, had the sport wheels. Some of them had V8s, they were 4-wheel drive. It was a pretty cool truck. Lo and behold, it's my friend that just texted me. He skirts up, what are you doing in this vehicle? He's like, yo, we're gonna take this mudding, let's go. I got us an off-road vehicle. So naturally, I mean, what do? I just jump in. Like, we go into the field, we going mudding. And from my house, down this hill, and there's a humongous, or just an activities field next to 2 big tennis courts. So we drive down there, and this field has a cut through that takes it to an even bigger field that's close to the main street that goes through the middle of my neighborhood. And we proceed to chop it up. We are spinning, we're doing donuts, we're switching seats, we're all in the mud, we're going everywhere. For 15 solid minutes, right? We changed the whole color of the truck. We take the truck over to the main field. We're spinning around, we're doing donuts, we're cutting it up. Mind you, this is the size of like half of a football field for sure, right? We take the car back to my house, which is literally right next to the field. We pull up to the side of my house, we get the hose out, we're gonna go cruise in this truck, you know, and we can't show the evidence of us chopping the field up. So we squirt the truck off for like 15, 20 minutes. And my friend is like, yo, I wanna go across the lake to the apartments and show off to some friends. So we jump in the truck, and we sitting at the light, the main street. Light turns, we pull out of my neighborhood. We're going down the actual main street in East Atlanta where I live. I'm fully aware of everything that's around us because I know that my friend, whose name I will omit for this story, does not own a vehicle. As I'm thinking in my young, dumb mind that I've been in this car for an hour now, I don't know whose car it is. I'm looking behind us and there is a car, just a regular sedan, following us kind of close. So I'm like, okay, I'm checking him out, making sure, you know, he's not too close, anything. We go just the half a mile it takes to go to the entrance to the adjacent neighborhood, and we go through their gates. I look back, this car is still behind us. So I'm like, okay, well, we just turned into this neighborhood, he could live here. We're going down a driveway. I look back, and now I see that there is a DeKalb County police officer behind the car that's behind us. I didn't see that car a minute ago. I'm a little nervous. I tell my friend, hey, there's police back there. Like, what are we gonna do? Like, I know this car isn't yours. He proceeds to turn down one of the first streets in the apartment complex. This is a huge apartment complex next to a lake. And so he turns down this first row of apartments, and the car that was behind us is still behind us, and the police car behind him now has their lights on. This is a problem. We then decide to turn the car to the left at the next driveway and pull up immediately into a spot, and my friend jumps out of the car. He's gone. He's ready to make a run for it. Me, I'm taking a little bit more time because the only problem with him jumping out of the car is that, okay, I have two choices now. I can surrender, or I can do what he did and I can run. I took a few seconds to make that decision. Well, while I did this, he had not put the car in gear. So the car proceeds to go over the parking barrier, and mind you, we're in a Jeep Cherokee, so it just drives right over the parking barrier and starts going down 20 to 25 foot hill straight to a fence. Now this is like next to an apartment building. I'm going down the grass to a fence. I'm just stuck in the car. I went to open the door. There's a police car next to my door, so I cannot open this door. So the car creeps on over the hill and then it hits the fence and it stops. Now I can open the door. So I jump out and I decide not to deal with these guys, in the police cars. I decide I'm gonna run. Mind you, it's 30 seconds have gone by. My friend is gone and there are police officers running after him. So I bolt out of the side of this car. I run down this fence and I get to the next building where the gap between buildings where we are. And I gotta decide, well, I can't go back up the hill where the police cars are. I'm at this low fence and on the other side, there's a 20-foot drop off, a retaining wall. So if you ever live in apartments, you know what I'm talking about. So I stop at the fence and I look back, and when I tell you with no exaggeration, the most hulkified police officer that I have ever seen in my life is running after me so hard that you could just see his footprints going in the ground. A guy who has to run like this is running after me. I decide to take this jump. I jump the fence, down I go, I land, I start running through the woods towards the lake. I know if I get to the lake, I can go around the lake and into the woods next to my house and at least go home. Because that's what you're thinking when you're 15 and you're running from the cops. Go straight home, you idiot. Boom, I pop my head out and there's the lake on my left. I start running along the lake and out of the bushes, like in a movie, poof, pops out my friend with bushes and stuff all over him. He's pulling them off and we literally come together like this and start running. If I'm lying, I'm flying. And we are running for our lives on the lake, and all I can remember and looking back is seeing my huge cop running like this, coming out of the woods with his humongous, in the gym every day, I practice all day, muscles. And next to him was the most normal sized police officer. And all I could think is looking over at my criminal friend going, that was your cop? And that huge, humongous, broccoli eating man is my cop? How did this happen? We are leaving these guys in the dust. I mean, you can look back and see they are windy. So they don't even come around the whole side of the lake. They just stop and just watch us run. I guess I'm probably sure they're radioing in our location. We get to the other side of the lake and into the woods we go. All the way out the other side of them into the field that I was just driving and doing the donuts in, which is what got the cops called on us, by the way, into my backyard, and we crawl into my back patio door. I'm talking about me and my friend are covered in mud. It's Christmas break, remember? We have new clothes on that we were trying to show off and new Timberland boots. It's trashed. We are covered in mud. There is a sludge trail from my back door into the laundry room. We have to take all of our clothes off. We are mud monsters. Luckily, I'm in the laundry room. There's clothes in there. I grab clothes, I put them on. I run upstairs, grab more clothes, run back downstairs, give my friend clothes to put on. In that commotion, I'm sure my mom must have heard this, although when you're a teenager, you can just run through the house and run back through the house and nobody really even cared. We get our clothes on. My mom comes busting into the laundry room like, what in the hell? Why is there a sludge trail into my, why are all your clothes on the floor covered in mud? What were you guys doing? And in my improvisational genius, I told my mom that we were at the park messing around and we slipped and fell into the creek while we were playing football or soccer. Once one of us fell, the other one fell, and then we were just in the mud, and that was it. We were like, forget about it, we're in the mud. I got brand new $150, $200 Timberlands on the floor, luckily that I paid for it, covered in mud. If you're a 15, 16-year-old that pays for your $150 shoes, your parents know that you did not, just out of fun, cover those shoes in mud. But she still went along with it, and she left. We catch our breath. We are breathing the hardest that we've ever breathed. We can hear, I look out through my blind in the lower part of my house, and I can see my friends in the street gathering because all they can hear is sirens way in the distance. Kind of know something must be going on in the area. We wait probably about an hour. We go outside very slowly, just in my driveway against my house. Actually texted some friends. So they came over and they told us, they were like, where were y'all? Like, how did y'all get back here? You guys left an hour and a half ago. Like, do y'all see? Wait. Is that for y'all? And we're like, yeah, that was for us. Our friends tell us that police cars were coming through the neighborhood, trucks, like 2 or 3 different kinds of vehicles where the street goes in, it splits, but it's a circle. So it's one way in, it's one way out. They come in, they go around our circle, and they go back out a few times the whole time we were in the house. And that was it. They left the neighborhood. I mean, we went right back in the house. We didn't come back out for the rest of the day. We had our friends keeping watch on the street and stuff like that, texting. But the cops just pretty much, I guess, once we ran away, they just wanted that vehicle. For all I know, my friend could have bought that car, just didn't register it, didn't have insurance, or didn't have his license, and he just wanted to run. It was a lot of crawling through the swamp and woods. The next day, we all just kind of came out and congregated about it, and then told them what happened. We had to give them the whole hangover story, like, you guys missed it all. This is what actually happened, because they still didn't even know what happened. The legends of the neighborhood after that. If you guys really like me telling all these crazy stories, I have lots more crazy stories just from being a car guy since I was 3 years old and driving my first car at 3 years old. Maybe I'll tell that story next. Like this video, subscribe to the channel. We're going to tell more car guy stories. There are another good ones coming up right now. We want you to enjoy it. We want you to come and tell stories too. You don't have to be famous to come and tell stories here. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Instagram at also ATL_carguys. You can hit me up there if you'd like to come and tell some crazy car stories. Please come and tell them. So subscribe to the channel. We'll see you later. Everyone, welcome to Gearhead Confessions. This is ATL Car Guys, and we are with my buddy Ethan. What's up? What do you drive? What are your cars currently?
Currently, I have a 2001 C5 base 6-speed manual Targa, 2011 Audi A3 hatchback turbo diesel as the daily.
Is it a stick?
Unfortunately, no.
Automatic.
In America, it did not come with the stick option
for the
TDI.
Yeah.
So it's not my fault.
Why not? Turbo diesel and
you'll have to take that up with
third
VW and
pedal?
Audi.
I know. Seriously. Good 2 cars though. And you save the manuals on one, so you're doing your part for the environment. Yeah. I love 90s cars, by the way, so I'm only asking people their favorite 90s cars. Kiss my if you want to know their other favorite cars.
I'm going to cheat a little and go with my other Corvette. It was a 98 C5.
See?
Full bolt-on, cam, ported heads, long tubes, intake.
Yes.
Maybe about 430 the wheels.
Yeah, now that was the rowdy car you had when I met you.
The current C5 is not rowdy just yet.
Not yet.
It's all stock right now. Probably a month at this point, but it's going to be rowdy here shortly.
So answer me this. How often do you think about cars?
That's all I think about.
Cars and cars only, just cars. Tell me the sketchiest thing that you've ever done in a car.
I guess a little backstory. The first C5, I blew it up and then rebuilt it to the full bolt-on. And that was my first like real sports car. So I had it stocked for a couple weeks, and then it was rowdy as shit. So actually down your street here, I was going to work one morning and there wasn't a whole lot of people around. And I'm like, I'm gonna fucking drift this intersection. So the light turned green. I did a little clutch dump. Rolling burnout through the intersection, center sideways. Then we had a little bit of oversteer, and then we were fishtailing down the road, and this little more oversteer, and then I was facing the wrong way in traffic, and I was like, that's not really good. And then there weren't too many people there, but then that light turned green, and there were a couple people there, so they're starting to come my way. I'm like, oh, that's not good. So I did also stall it after spinning out. Like
party foul.
Yeah, I know. So I just put the clutch in, and then did a quick clutch dump 180, and took off and was on my way. I was like, you didn't see any of that? We're gone.
And what time in the morning was this?
Probably about 7:20.
Yeah, so if you see a car do that in the middle of an intersection at 7 in the morning, that's pretty sketchy.
The other sketchy thing is one of the stories I'm about to tell you, so we'll get to that later.
Oh, really? Okay, this is Ethan's Gearhead confession. Tell us this story, bro.
I had left something at my buddy's house. It was important, and I had to go back and get it. And he lived over in East Cobb, if you know where that is, and I was currently in Ackworth. So on the way to his house, I was pretty chill, but it was kind of later at night, and I was still a little annoyed that I had to go back to grab this thing. So I get there, pick it up. I honestly don't even remember what it was. I think I needed it for work the next day at park or something. On my way back, I decided I'm a little fed up. We're gonna get after it. So he lives right by the intersection of Paper Mill and Johnson Ferry. And Paper Mill is a very long and nice windy road, about maybe 4 miles. So I am hauling ass at like 10:30 at night, doing 70, 60 through some of these turns. There's a very sharp downhill and then a very hard right that I got a little loose on and maybe went in another lane, but we held it and kept going. Ooh, anyway, kept going all the way up Paper Mill. I go right down the street here, stop at the Quick Trip, full tank of gas because I was almost out, and then I make my way to the interstate to go back to Ackworth. So that first section before the gas station was about 6 miles total, and I had another 12, 14 miles to get to my house. Pretty late at night, but I saw a sign for the express lanes, and they were still open. I have a Peach Pass. This may be real good. On the express lanes to and from work every day pretty much. So I merged at 120, hop on the express lane, and there is not a soul in sight. It's probably a good opportunity to do a top speed run here. But we waited a little bit. I was doing maybe 140, just cruising, having some fun. There's some slight turns, so I was just feeling the vibes out, taking some sweeping turns, having a blast. And then it goes downhill, a nice sweeping right, kind of uphill, and that's where it becomes single lane, express lane. So I fly down the hill. I'm probably doing $150 now. I'm going down, take this downshift 1 gear, slow down to 120, take the sweeping right, and then power back up the hill. And then there's one spot that the police can sit out up there. So I slow down a little bit. The slowest I went on that excursion was probably 100. Because I can see them from a distance. It's not a very good hiding spot, so I knew I would have some time to slow down if I needed to. Get past there, no cops. Keep going a little bit, past all the major exits. There's a few exits in a row. So just single lane, 3 feet of walls on each side of you. And that's when we decided to open her up. I slowed down back to probably 120, maybe lower end of 4th. Hit a bridge that I used as my kind of judgment zone, and then punched it. 120, 130, 140, 150, 160, 170.
And you had somebody in the car with you?
No, I was by myself.
Okay.
I'm not that reckless. I'm not gonna be responsible for someone else. If I take myself out, it's no problem. I had a little bit left in it. I knew my exit was coming up, and doing 170 with like 3 feet of walls on each side of you, I felt like I was in Star Wars, light speed, everything is just blending together. Oh my God. My exhaust is making a hell of a lot of noise. It's like hitting the sway bars. So I'm like, this is quite sketchy. But I held it at 170 for like a mile. I think I had a little bit more room left, but I kind of pushed it out a little bit.
You chickened out a little bit.
Yeah. I got off, had time to slow down a little bit without completely roasting my brakes.
Did you do any damage to the car?
Not at all.
You took it all?
Took it all.
Sounds like a good old LS to me.
Yes, sir. I got off the exit, just went back to my house, nothing too crazy. But when I got home, I got out of the car, I was just like, the adrenaline was kicking in and I was just shaking. I'm like, that's the fastest I've ever gone at that time. So I had the shakes. And then like my mind was racing. So I'm doing math. I'm like, so if I was doing 170 miles an hour, that means I was 22 seconds to go 1 mile, the fastest I've ever gone. So that was a fun experience. The next morning, I get up to go to work, take the express lanes again, and I'm in the Corvette again. Every place there can be Georgia State Patrol, there was Georgia State Patrol. Now, I don't know if that was because they saw videos from the express lane or whatever, but on my way to work the next morning, every spot there's a place for a car to sit on the express lanes, there was GSP there. And I was like doing like 2 under the entire way to work. I'm like, don't pay attention to this car. It wasn't doing anything last night here.
Yeah, because they're probably looking for a certain type of
Corvette
we're doing a certain type of crazy driving.
I was very impressed. The Corvette that thing was the biggest pain in my butt. It fought me at every tooth and nail, every repair, everything I ever had to do to it. And I was very happy after $25,000 in a year and a half of work. I could do something like that and not have any issues and not die. So that was pretty cool.
Well, my last Gearhead question is usually, what car do you think is the best miles per mile? But I think you just told us that car for you.
Corvette.
Yeah.
100%. I don't care what you drive. It's a Corvette. If you say anything else, you're wrong.
Hey, if you're wrong.
It doesn't even matter what year it is. I like the year C6 is awesome. But I feel like the C5 is just a little more raw. It feels a little more dangerous. There's a little more excitement.
Well, that's why my favorite is actually the C4 that I have for the same reason. I think when you sit down in the cockpit, the pillar is at your hip. You're down in the car.
In that motherfucker.
And it's dangerous. You know that
you know it's dangerous.
Yeah, you know it's dangerous. You know there's nothing around you. There's just a bunch of engine in front of you. You can look back and see the end of the car inside, and you know that this is it. This cockpit that I'm sitting in, this tub, and just some engine in front of me, and that's all I got. So that's why I love that car. It's pretty crazy. I appreciate you coming and telling the story.
Of course.
Definitely got to come back.
Oh, you know I'll be here.
Absolutely. Everybody subscribe, hit the like button. We got to do more Gearhead confession stories. Hit us up.